What's on Your Mind is sponsored by ACC 339 Dudley Road, New Style Radio 98.7 FM, Breakthrough Studios, and Reggae Jam Jam.
Good afternoon, guys. How you doing? Let me say welcome to another program in the series of What's on Your Mind. I am Carl. The program is produced by Breakthrough TV. Hope all is well with you. Let me say thanks to all of you who is tuning in for the first time, because I know some of you are just tuning in for the first time. Yeah, this is a live stream. Yeah, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. And you can also leave your comments. I want to say a big shout out to my guest who I had on the show last week, Cherry. Big shout out to you, Cherry. Let me say thank you. I know we're gonna do this again because we still got a lot more music we're gonna talk about and need to cover. Okay. Also want to say a big shout out to Mr. G. Cross. Big shout out to you, Sir Carlos Gabidan, down there in Jamaica. A big supporter of the program. Let me say a big shout out to you. Also want to say a big shout out to you, Brenda. Hope all is well with you. Marcia, big shout out to you. Gerline, big shout out to you. Hector, big shout out to you. Helen, big shout out to you. June, Andrea, big shout out to you. All my family across the world, let me say big shout out to you. Birmingham, Jamaica, the United States, and Canada. Hope all is well with you. The MacLeod family, let me say big shout out to you. Colin, how you doing, sir? Hope all is well. Donna, how you doing? Mr. Andrea, how you doing, sir? Big shout out to you and your family. Wonderful program lineup for you this afternoon, guys. Once again, got a wonderful guest in the studio with me. Her name is Empress, and she is actually from Skate Buddies. Empress, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Let me say welcome to Breakthrough TV.
Thank you.
Great having you here. You're a skater, and you do different events, and we're going to talk about that a little. We've got to go in depth a little bit more about it later on.
Okay.
And what have you been up to? How do you find it awkward getting here?
Yeah, it's been okay. I mean, you know, typical British weather. When it rains, we just get traffic. So, well, other than that, it's been fine. Yeah.
and there's a storm coming, isn't there? There's a storm.
Storm Angus. Yeah.
Storm Angus. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so okay, we're gonna have a little chat later. As you know, guys, there's a couple of things I always looked at because the program is called What's on Your Mind. Let me do it in that language. You know, I can't help laughing. So those of you who say I laugh too much, well, it's good to do that. You know what I mean? And it keeps me young. So let me have looking at a couple of things that actually happened in the news. According to the Mirror, Storm Angus is set to batter Britain very badly. Heavy rain and wind, you know what I mean, is set to hit us. 80 miles an hour wind to 90 miles an hour wind is all set to hit us. So we can only say winter has arrived. Yes, winter is here. I gotta say, it hasn't been too bad today. I put my coat on, I put this on, and I've got a t-shirt under this. I got so much clothes on, it's ridiculous. But I like to keep warm anyway, you know what I mean? I like to protect myself. And see, I got my thing up here as well tonight. So it is all good. My next story is like, let me go to London. In Croydon, a 15-year-old girl, I should say, was actually stabbed by a bus today. This is coming in late. She was actually stabbed by a 17-year-old boy. The police has actually said the boy seems to know his victim, you know what I mean? And he's actually being arrested, the 17-year-old boy. And as I say, it's those situations that sort of really annoy you when you see more stabbing and more stabbing and more stabbing again, you know what I mean? It's actually ridiculous. Let me quickly ask you, Empress, think stabbing. There seems to be a lot of stabbing on our streets, and I can't help bringing you in on that. What do you think?
I think it's tragic. I think with the setup of society and the way that things are for young people, there's not really a lot to keep them engaged. Yeah. And London is, I think, even a much more hectic kind of city than it is than Birmingham. Yeah. And they face a lot of because they've got different boroughs and things that they have to deal with in terms of their disparities. Yeah. So actually, it's quite sad.
It is quite sad, you know what I mean? It is quite sad. And we want to say big condolence to the family, you know what I mean, and friends of this young girl, you know what I mean? And I say, I don't know where it's gonna end because it's such a regular thing now, you know what I mean? It's such a regular thing, not just in London, it's such a regular thing in the UK. I dare say there's other country that this is probably happening, you know what I mean? Not just the UK, but it seems to be such a regular thing now, you know? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Now, let me look at entertainment. Entertainment. Now, one of my favorite artists, Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill actually did a concert in Central Park, New York, over the weekend. She did the Global Citizen Festival, which is a concert that actually raised money for what we call the not-so-privileged people, or for the people who are that needs money, you know what I mean? Helping to make the world a better place. And she actually reunited with Pras Michael and also Wycliffe Jean, which is members of the Fugees. So it's actually good to see the Fugees actually reunited there. I mean, so it is absolutely massive. And they said the concert was wicked. And I don't like to use that word, you know what I mean? Or she actually kills it, you know? And I don't like to use that word, but I think that what they actually mean, it was great, you know what I mean? So it's good to see that. And I must also say, Lauryn Hill is actually celebrating the 25th years of the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, the classic album that came out. And she has never made another album. And I keep saying, whenever I talk about this, I keep saying, Lauryn, when are you going to make the next album? She's done a lot of collaborations with different people, but she's never make another album. What do you think of Lauryn Hill?
I love Lauryn Hill, especially the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
Like, my favourite song is To Zion.
I love that as well.
It's a beautiful song.
I love that. I do love that. Yeah. It's a great song. I like Everything Is Everything. After
I do, but like, if I had to choose, that's number one.
I do like after Everything Must Change. After spring, it comes.
After spring, must come spring.
That's
everything
right.
Is everything.
I do. That is one of my that is one of my favorite tracks. She's a great artist.
She's lovely.
You know what I mean? I say it'd be good to see she actually puts out another album. You know, as I say, she's done a lot of collaborations with different people over the years, but she's actually never.
I think there was some controversy with that, because I believe that one album that she made, she never actually made any real royalties. She doesn't own the rights to the songs or anything. So I think a lot of people, when they go to a concert, they end up hearing like a different version of the songs that they know, because she can't sing her own songs.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Allegedly. I think she's been hard done by personally.
Yeah, possibly, you know what I mean? It's just one of those ones, isn't it? Anyway, still keeping it music. Now, another one of my favorite artists, reggae icon, Marcia Griffiths. Marcia Griffiths comes out and defends Clement Sir Coxsone Dodd. He is the Studio One producer. And some of the veterans, singers, on other artists actually been criticizing him, you know what I mean, and saying they actually didn't get any money. That's what he was saying. So Marcia Griffiths has actually come out in big support, and she actually said, in that particular period of time, there was no money. There was no money. She says what it did, it helps people to get the opportunity to go and to do better things, you know what I mean? She says there was no money. Nobody was getting paid. Even stage show, no one was getting any money, you know what I mean? And she says as well as that, Coxsone Dodd received very little money. And she says it was great experience, because they was actually there from about 9 a.m. till 5, you know what I mean? And sometimes they would just get a penny for lunch, you know what I mean? And I say she comes out in strong defense of Sir Coxsone Dodd. She said as well, at 11-year-old, she had her first recording with Coxsone Dodd studio, but it wasn't released, which was one of those songs. But she later on said she benefit, because later on, produced by Coxsone, that was the track Feel Like Jumping, which is the big track that everybody knows, you know what I mean? So, and she says a lot of those artists, she says, actually saying bad things about Mr. Coxsone Dodd. It hurts her very much, you know what I mean? And she doesn't like it at all. So as I said, she actually comes out in big support of Mr. Coxsone Dodd, you know what I mean? And I gotta put my little spin on this now, because my knowledge of music, I've done a lot of music over the years, and I research a lot of music, and I read a lot about music, you know what I mean, and history of music. And those days was actually very early days of recording, you know what I mean? There was very way back when Coxsone Dodd was on. There was actually very early days of recording, and these guys was the pioneer. And even European musicians, even in the Britain, even the big groups in the Britain, you know what I mean, who was probably around them time in the 60s, in the 50s and the 60s, they weren't getting any little or no money at all. Some of the great American artists, you know what I mean, that you actually see or hear, you know what I mean, they weren't getting any money at all, you know what I mean. It's only later on when their career improve and they get better opportunities, you know what I mean, they actually start making some money, you know what I mean. And I think that what is the main thing about Cox and Dodd is that he as Marcia Griffith says, he opens the door, you know what I mean, and he gives the opportunity to a lot of artists, you know what I mean, who's actually possibly complaining about him now, you know what I mean, say they didn't get any money. Yeah, so that is where I actually go with it. And I quite understand with that. And as I said before, it's not like now how things are now. You know what I mean? Like how, you know, you expect to get money, you take the money straight away or whatever you get to get. Those were the different, there was actually totally different days, you know what I mean? So put your opinion up. It'll be good to to hear your opinion. Am I talking rubbish or not? I don't think so, you know what I mean? But if you look at the history of music, and I've done this a lot, I've studied music most of my life, and I've looked at the history of it. I'm not just playing instrument, I actually read about music. I read about producer, I actually read about what's going on, you know what I mean, in the whole musical industry. And that's how the thing was, and that's how time was, you know what I mean? So it's one of those ones. I also should say to you, we actually did a program, and if you go and have a look at this program, we actually did a program interviewing, if you go to Breakthrough TV, with Carl, you'll actually see where we did an interview with Cox's daughter, which is Mona Dodd. And that interview is actually still there. And she actually talked about the legacy of her father. And sooner or later, we hope to actually have another chat with her, you know what I mean, and see if we can get her back and I can have a good chat to her. And I know she actually watched this program. So let me say a big shout out to you, Mona. Hope all is well, you know. Let me say big shout out to you, my sister. Thank you. Now, moving on. I have reached my wonderful guest.
I know it's that time now.
So she looked at me. Yeah, we're having too much fun, aren't we? Stop it. We're having too much fun.
Okay.
Right, Empress.
Yes.
You're with skating buddies, and you've been skating for quite some time. So
not that long.
Let's start. Where did it all started? Where did you started?
This all started, well, one weekend. My skate journey began one weekend. For those, because I've mentioned it before, but I had a mental breakdown, and a good 10 years in, like, I was really struggling. So by the time that my friend came around, Nadia, she was trying to kind of get me out of this mental health slump and trying to get me out of the depression by showing me, like, kind of get me to do different things. So she'd try and get me up in the mornings to go jogging. I was like, yep, don't like that, not doing that. Like, so we kind of went through a few things, and one day she just like, get some skates. I've got some skates. I need someone to skate with me. So I was like, oh, okay then. Well, all right then, I'll get them. So we ordered them, and I think it was the 7th of March that I got them 3 years ago. And that's where my skating journey began, and it's also where I think my healing began, but I just didn't realise at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, and because I was welcomed into the community, so I went to Cannon Hill Park, which is where Skate Brum exists. So, you know, Carl and his wife Margaret, they're amazing people, and they just welcomed me, and so did everybody else. And it just kind of gave me an opportunity to just be in a space.
Okay.
And that's where my skating journey started.
Yeah. And how did you find it?
I absolutely loved it because it was during lockdown as well. I had all the time to skate. I didn't have there wasn't anything else to do. The world was locked down. Do you know what I mean? So as soon as, like, you know, the sun would come up, I'd get my skates and walk to the park, and I'm going to get to the park, and I think, okay, I'll spend an hour. 6-7 hours later, I'm still on my skates. My feet are killing me, but I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. So yeah. Yeah,
but let me ask you then, how do you get on the stage and start skating? Let's go to the depth with this. How do you get to say? I think we've got a clip of somewhere we can actually show. You know, we got to show on the screen sometimes. How do you actually get into skating?
I love that. See, okay, that clip there is at an event called Rollout. Big shout out to my big bro Dino. And he runs events during the winter because obviously we can't skate outside in the summer. Yeah. So we go there in the winter, and me being me, if the music takes me and I feel it, I go, and that's what you see in there, and everybody just kind of joined in. I was like, yeah, let's do it. So I love about it.
Looks like you're having a great time there.
Yeah.
And I want to say, how do you sort of put a skate on and say you can skate it? How fit you got to be? Or how, you know what I mean, like say you don't hurt yourself or damage yourself or whatever?
I think those things are always there. I think this is the thing about skating. I didn't know when I put on a pair of skates that I could skate. And if I ever had videos of when I first started, people, you'd laugh because it was proper Bambi legs and here, you know what I mean? Like I didn't have no posture, no nothing. Skating builds your ability, it builds your strength, it builds your body. So I didn't go in there with any particular strength or ability. I just thought, let me give it a go.
Yeah. How do you warm up? Because you must have to. How do you do warm up? You have to warm up. Anything you do, you have to get warm. So
okay, I'll be honest.
How do you warm up?
I've only just started warming up. Like in terms of like when I first started skating, I was so excited. You just get your skates on, and then when you come off your skates and you're aching, it still didn't cross my mind that I actually needed to stretch. Okay. So I've only actually started stretching probably in the last year and a half.
Okay.
And that's because I was trying to get a particular move called dips, and because dips. So
how does that go?
It's a very sensual, lovely move. I like it. It's very feminine-like. Right. But because you're in a basic lunge, I had my hips were quite tight and I had no flexibility. So I started to stretch to get my flexibility for that particular move.
And can you lose weight doing this?
Definitely.
Skating?
Yep. 100%. 10 minutes in, you're skating, you're sweating for sure, 100%. If you see me ever skating, I'm glistening because I'm just soaking wet.
Would you say it's like a good form of exercise? Would you say
Most definitely. It's like a full body workout for real. When I first started skating, I had aches in places I didn't even know I had muscles. Like I promise you, I was like, wow, why is it hurting here? But after a while, your body gets used to it. You get more muscle memory, and you get stronger.
Oh, great! That's great. And what age should you start, or whatever? You know what I mean? Because I mean, can anybody start, or what age would you say recommend somebody start?
Do you know what? To be honest, I've seen children as young as 2, 3 on skates.
Is it?
I think from you can walk, you can skate. Honestly, age is not a barrier at all. From the youngest right up to the golden years. Like there's people that are skating right throughout.
Yeah. And I guess you can also tone up your whole legs or your whole body and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I've got quite strong thighs now because of skating, because of chicken fillets. Yeah, well, you get quite strong, your body really works out your core, because actually when you're skating, it takes a lot of core work, especially around like the mid half of your body and your legs. Like you actually have to be using that, transferring your weight. So yeah, you get a really good workout.
Yeah. Safety tips. Have you got some safety tips? It's got to have some safety tips. Right?
Of course.
Tell some of the first safety tips.
I think the first safety tip is like when people first get on skates, get used to your skates first.
Okay.
Even if it's just simple things, because I think a lot of people just see people skating, see the speed and want to do that part. And then forget that you need to learn to stop. Like it's like, wow, I can skate, I can go really fast. I'm like, how do you stop? Oh, with a wall, or I fall onto the grass, and I'm like, whoa, okay. So definitely learn how to stop. Always wear your safety gear when you first begin, because you're going to take falls. It's going to happen. And
What sort of safety gears do you do? Like, explain some of the safety gears that you have to do.
So you'll have wrist guards. Wrist guards are really good because when you fall over, you tend to put your hands down flat. So the wrist guard has like a plastic piece that sits across your wrist here. So when you do fall, it stops you from breaking your wrists. Okay. Super important. Elbow pads, knee pads are great as well, because if you do fall and you fall kind of funny, depending on how you fall, you will fall onto your elbows, then your hands, or straight onto your knees. Okay. So elbow pads, knee pads are great. But there's ways you learn how to fall when you skate as well. Okay. And then there are some other things as well that I've seen around lately, like there's some bicycle pants that people can wear that have the bottom bit that's padded, so for the more mature generation that want to get involved, and because we think about, like, if I break a bone, or like that's the first thought in somebody's mind. So to have that protection, it just it helps people. And helmets, if you want them.
I just gonna ask that, if you use the helmets.
Some people do. To be honest, a lot of people don't, because they feel like they look stupid in them. Like they're like, oh, I'm just looking like, do you know? But and to be honest, I would say not a lot of people that I skate around actually have a helmet. And there's one person that I do know, and I think the only time I see him wear the helmet is when he goes on a street skate. So safety, really.
Okay, you mentioned something there which is very interesting. So you're skating. How do you stop How do you
There's
stop?
a few ways.
You got some wonderful skate boots. Let's have a look at your skating boots there.
Okay. Oh God, these battered old things.
So those are your skating boots.
My rookies. I love my rookies. I do. Yeah.
So how do you sort of stop?
Right. So if you're stopping, usually people have toe stops.
The toe stops, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a thicker stop that goes at the front, and you can use toe stops. I didn't particularly like the toe stop, so I learned how to plough stop or T-stop.
Yeah, yeah.
So plough stopping is when so if you're going in a straight line, you're coming forward, you'll bring your legs round, but as you'll bring your legs round in a C, you're also pushing outwards on a force, and it kind of slows you down quite slowly. And then you've got T-stopping. So when you are skating, so that's me skating, and then when I want to stop, I'll turn my foot and use this as a brake.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you turn your foot and you just.
I'll turn my foot at an angle and use it as a brake.
It hasn't got like a brake on it itself.
It's a brake, so I use my wheels as my brake.
Oh, you use your wheels.
I use my wheels as my brakes.
Very, very interesting. That is.
I do. I love it. I love it. I mean, as you can see here, I've got some jam plugs in. Shout out to jam plugs. Mickey, somebody in the community. These are actually custom-made jam plugs. Very good for when you are jamming, dancing, doing any kind of toe work. Yeah.
Okay, great. That's absolutely. And I know you're very fit. You're very fit at it. So I'm going to ask us to show us one of your moves or one of your bed now, because I know I've actually seen you in a thing that way actually.
When I go down.
When you actually bend down to the floor.
Well, I hate to not stretching, but we'll see what we can pull out the bag.
I'll see if I can get my cameraman to actually do that.
This is going to be fun.
I'll actually do this.
Let's see what we can do,
Let's see what we can do here.
Let's see what we can do. Let's have some fun. Why not?
You know, I could never allow you coming to the studio,
and not do anything.
Those trick shots wise. It's a bit like snooker, isn't it? You got to do
you got to do one or two.
Trick shots.
Okay, right.
What do you call this one then? What are you going to do? We're going to see if we can get it.
Do you know what? I haven't actually given it a name. Some people do it. I just thought, let me give it a go, and I want to give it a try. So I guess it's kind of like a Matrix move, I guess. Okay, okay, right. So where should I stand? Yeah.
Find a good position.
Never
mind me. Find a good position.
Okay, well, I think I'm good here.
You're good here.
Right. So I do a lot of toe work.
Okay.
So this is trying to find balance in my body and on my toes.
Wow.
Oh, hang on. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, great.
Oh,
that's actually great. Let me say.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I could do that.
Do you know what? I didn't, but I started one day, fell over, tried another time. You keep going. We call it like kill it till you drill it till you kill it.
Yeah.
And you just keep trying.
What sort of move do you call that one?
I don't know. I guess I'd call that. I guess I'd call it the Matrix, because in my mind, what I really want to do is like code. Do you know what I mean? In my mind, I'm doing all of this.
I see what you're saying.
I'm doing all of this stuff in my mind. Do you know what I mean? But we're only getting down at the minute. But I'm sure I did try to develop it to look something like that.
What other? You can explain. You don't have to do. What other things do you actually do? What other tricks do you actually do?
Oh gosh, we do all sorts. I'm not really a tricks person. I'm more of a dancer.
You're a dancer.
I love dancing on my skates. I enjoy jam skating. So we're always doing different routines, moves. Sometimes we do a lot of toe work. Yeah. Sometimes we might be doing, some 1 foot stuff and all sorts.
What kind of music do you use? What kind of music? What's your favorite music to sort of dance to?
Well, anybody that knows me, I like a bit of bashment.
You like the bashments?
Right, but I also like some slow tunes because I like to do my dipping. I like to get my feminine on. Okay. But pretty much anything that has a beat, like that has a nice kind of tribal feel or beat, Afro beats, and piano, some forms of
Okay, right. So we talk about music now. Who's your favorite artist when you talk about, we talk about this sort of thing? Because we got into the music picture now.
My favorite artist, what to skate to?
Yeah. Or even favorite artists in general.
Okay, I think my favorite.
What do you like? What do you like? You always say bashment when you skate.
Yeah, I like bashment.
Like?
But I think my favorite artist, if I had to go to one in terms of like who I listen to on a regular basis, let me think. Who have I been listening to lately? Oh my gosh, I can't remember Flowetry. I love Flowetry. I know they're not there anymore, but
I like the Flowetry. I do like them.
Yeah.
I actually played this. I haven't played that tune for ages, but sometimes I actually play. Great.
Yeah, Sunshine is my song.
Yeah, the great track, you know.
Yeah.
And when she starts roughing, you know that one when she starts roughing.
I love it.
Look out for this, blah,
when you
blah.
see me in my house, I'm like, do you know what I mean? I feel I'm in it, you know. I love that song. Yeah,
right, great. Anyway, I know you do some events. Tell us about some of these events that you actually do on different things. You know, what I mean, with your colleagues and the rest of it. Because I know you was in one at the MAC. Because I actually talked to you about that on radio.
Yes.
How's that one went?
Do you know what, the MAC, the Big Green Weekend at the MAC went absolutely amazing. Thank you to Bert's Associates for collaborating with us and helping us on this journey, supporting us and getting us to that space. Because I don't think without Iris's help, and I don't think we would have got into the space really. Yeah. So the Big Green Weekend was amazing. Iris had put on some sticker workshops. We also had a T-shirt design workshop as well, where we had some printing done. So the community came together prior in a workshop with Dave Springer and Jane, and they did like designs around skating, what skating means to them. And so we kind of collaborated those and then kind of chose some designs for them for the printing workshop. Everybody had chosen a design. The most popular design was actually made by one of our skaters in the community, Nine, which was amazing. It's like a brick wall with roll free, no walking allowed. You know, it was really, it was really cool. Everybody loved it, and I think it was one of the most popular prints of the day.
I know who Iris is. You mentioned Iris. Tell us a little bit about Iris. What does she actually do, Iris?
What doesn't Iris do? Iris is like an absolute amazing person. So Iris runs Bert's Associates, and she's very much about trying to speak about and bring the people forward like myself that are doing things in the community or have talents or things but I'd never really seen or heard of. And she really works in a beautiful and a collaborative way with what she does. Iris is just absolutely amazing. I don't even know where to begin. She's been mentoring me as well, so that's been amazing. It's been an absolute important kind of support that I've needed in this journey with Skate Buddies.
Great. I want to say a big shout out to you, Iris. I know who you are. Let me say good
Iris.
afternoon. Let me say thank you. Now, I also want to talk about how you're impacting on the community, because I know this will help people. We talk about mental health and helping the community get engaged. And people always say, many youngsters, I'm not picking on the youngsters, but they always say, oh, we've got nothing to do, or we got nowhere to go, we got nothing. How is this impacting on the community?
Well, so far it seems to be impacting quite positively on the community. The people that I've been coming into contact with and networking with in these last couple of weeks in terms of like the performance and around the performance and working with Iris and doing the Mac Green Weekender. It's just I've been in contact with like different schools, community centres have been getting in contact, because obviously we need space as well to be doing things in the community with. And I think one of the problems that we tend to come up against in the skate community is like, so spaces like leisure centres and places like that, they won't let us use their floors because they think that our wheels are going to ruin the floors, when actually those spaces are designed for these things. So I think it's about maybe building a better rapport with them, with the Birmingham City Council, I don't know, but it's definitely impacted in the way that they're starting to understand the message that, you know, skating can definitely impact your mental health in a positive way, but it does more as well.
And is more and more people taking up this?
I think so. I think there's been a massive influx of people into skating, not just because of Skate Buddies, but just in general. In Birmingham, the young crew, like they're hot, they're on fire, and they're there.
So there's a young crew.
There's a younger crew. I mean, I know I look like 12. Thank you. But I will be 40 next year. It's my birthday next month. Yeah.
Serious?
I'll be 40 next year. So I'm 39 next month. So I pretend like I'm still young and I'm there, but then when I'm around them, I remember that I'm not.
Just like me.
Yeah, like I remember I'm not there anymore. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah, okay. Oh, do you know what I mean? So.
And then somebody took you and says, "Oh, there you are."
Yeah, and I'm like, you know, but no, I'm actually quite proud. I'm actually quite proud of how old I am and how I look, because for what I've been through, I should not look this well presented and put together at all.
Why not? What's some of the things you've been through, if you don't mind?
No, I don't mind.
Tell us some of the things you've been through.
My mental health journey was a very difficult journey. So
Where was you at? Where was you at in context of mental health? Where was you at?
In terms of my mental health, I would say that I had lost, as a, as a phrase, I'd lost my mind.
Serious?
I completely lost my mind. I stopped living.
Yeah.
And when I say I stopped living, I mean that. I became recluse for a few years. I actually became so afraid of everybody and everything that I couldn't leave my house. I wouldn't answer my door. I wouldn't. So if you came and knocked my door, I wouldn't be able to answer it.
Yeah.
So, you know, it became quite difficult. 2 suicide attempts, self-harming.
Wow.
I've had a really horrible time with medication and actually how the Western medical model within mental health, it doesn't work. And I've realised that through my own journey. And I know we read things and we understand like there are disparities and things for medication with, you know, but when you're actually in it, it's a completely different thing. So I've had different antipsychotics, antidepressants, you name it, I've been on it. I'm now not on any medication at the moment and I'm trying to keep it that way. So yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah. And was you actually showing signs of this in like what we call a physical way?
Yes.
There's a reason why I'm going to ask you this, why I asked you this question. As I say, was you showing this in a physical, you know?
Most definitely.
Or did you know who you were, or did you go outside of did you still knew who you was, or where you were?
No, where I am now and who I am now is so far removed from who I was then. Does that make sense? Like I lived in a space of complete rage.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I was the easiest person to deal with. I didn't have a great way of dealing with conflict. I didn't know how to articulate myself or my feelings or my thoughts.
Yeah.
So yeah, the perceptions, and I understand it and I get it. But I was screaming out for help, but I guess it didn't come off in that way. Yeah. So you lose a lot of people along the way.
Do you think there's more and more people who's suffering now from mental health, say that probably when we was born or even when we was a lot younger? How do you see it? Or is it because it's more to the fore now? And there's also a reason why I asked. I'm going to tell you the reason why I asked that.
Yeah, I don't think it's more. I just think it's more spoken about.
Yeah.
I think within our culture and our space, mental health, we say that we don't speak about mental health, but we do, but we just don't talk about it in ways that may be recognised in that way.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say it's more than, I just think it's more recognised. I also think there's the situation as well where there's a lot been added on as well to mental health, the different diagnoses and all these different things that are coming in this time. Yeah, so I don't think it's more, I just think things are being more recognised and people are starting to understand that, oh, well, actually, maybe that's not just them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Why actually, most of the time, most of my life, I've been driving. Right? Most of my time, most of the life, I'm driving. So I jump in my car and I'm gone.
Yeah.
I jumped in my car, and you got to keep your eye on the road. Yes, so I just jump in my car and go wherever, and I'm gone.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, I used the bus.
Okay.
And there's nothing wrong with the bus.
Yeah.
I'm not that sort of guy. I don't mind using the bus. I rode out jogging. If I have to use the bus, I'd use the bus.
Yeah.
The only time I ever use the bus is when I'm going to when I'm taking the MOT. I'll leave the car at the garage and then say, you know, Carl, just jump for the bus and go to work. Right, so I do that. But one of the things I actually came across when I was on the bus is how many people, I know we sort of, you know, is how many people was actually suffering from physical, mental health. I was actually showing it. You know what I mean? And that's on average, when I cast the bus a couple of times, there was about 7 people on average.
Wow.
On the bus that I actually take. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, what is going on? One lady, I think I talked about this before. One lady, she actually came on the bus and she looks really good. She looked fresh. You know what I mean? Her hair was nicely done. Everything was, her clothes was nice. And then she gets out this mirror and she starts talking to herself. But she wasn't just talking to herself. She was cussing.
Oh,
she was using all those words I can't even use.
Profanities.
They were amazing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was her, you know what I mean? So that's why I say, and that was her. And I say you wouldn't have thought she actually had mental health. The other time, the other time I stepped on the bus, was this guy, he actually came on the bus, and he had no shirt on, right? I'm not saying these people shouldn't use the bus. He had no shirt on, you know, because I wouldn't do that. I'm not judgmental,
no,
you know.
I hear you.
And he had no shirt on, right? He just had his trousers on. And he was covered in paint.
Okay.
And he stands in the middle of the bus. And he's swearing at everybody on the bus. You know what I mean? And he's actually going up and swearing at everybody on the bus. This is what I'm calling like physical mental health.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, oh my days, I hope he doesn't come up to me and start swearing because I don't know how I'm gonna handle it. I don't know how I'm handling it, you know what I mean? The final one which I came across, and this is in a short period of time. The final one I actually came across was this lady. And she must have been in her 50, you know what I mean, 50 or something like that. And she came on the bus, and she came on the bus, and she looks really, you know, looks all right. And she sits on the bus, and then she gets her phone out. And then she starts talking to somebody on the phone. But she wasn't talking to anybody on the phone. Okay. Because the phone was out there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it's not a wireless, so you plug into the ears. So she was actually talking to anybody on the phone. And then she says something like, I asked this person to pray for me, and this person wouldn't pray for me. She's a horrible person. I don't know where she comes from. You know what I mean? And she was just going on like that. You know what I mean? And in the end, she actually she get up off the bus. You know what I mean? Before she get up off the bus, she just started pouring tears. She's just crying and crying and crying. And I'm thinking, oh my days, I don't know what to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what do you do?
And what do I do? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say to her. I can't comfort her. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to comfort her, you know what I mean? Because you don't know. You just don't know what is going on. You may try to say something to her and then the fly off on you and inflame the whole situation. Very true. You know? So I didn't know what to do. In the end, she actually get off the bus. And then she left the food on the bus because she had a bag of food. Okay. And you could tell it was a bag of food because, you know, it was in a see-through bag. Okay. And she actually left the food on the bus. And I actually give her a shout and said, look, you forget your food. You know what I mean? So on average, those were the people that I see. And I said, that's why I said, is it getting any worse? Now, for me, who only using the bus for a little short time, the bus driver must have experienced probably about 20 on average each time he's driving the bus. So that's why I asked you if it seems to be more. Have you ever experienced anything like that?
I have. I was that person once.
That's what you remember. You remember I asked you.
Yeah, but it wasn't so public in that respect. I had a moment of psychosis, and I thought I saw my grandmother that passed away. And
what do you say, psychosis?
So a moment of psychosis. So
explain that for me, please.
How do I explain it?
A lot of people can't sort of understand or whatever.
It's like hearing or seeing things that aren't there.
Okay.
But it's very real in that moment. Okay. So as far as I was concerned, I saw my nan as clear as me and you, and she was standing there and she was just staring at me, but it wasn't her, and that's the only thing I don't know how to describe it. Like, it just felt like it was a dark spirit, but this thing was following me. So I ran out my house. I was living on Gillette Road at the time. I ran out my flat, ran over into a phone box, which I don't think's there anymore. And I called my mum. I was like, Mum, you need to come and get me. She's like, what's the matter? Like, you need to come and get me, Nancy. And you know when you're just frantic. And I think even at that time, she didn't know what to do. My mum's never experienced anything like that before, or, you know, but eventually they got me onto medication and I got over that space of psychosis. But it's really scary, but in your space, in your time, that's real. It's happening. Yeah.
What would you say to you being where you are? What would you say to people who sort of any advice who sort of going through the same phase or same period of things? What would you say? Any advice? Anything?
I think my only advice would be to never give up on yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's the first thing that happens, because everybody else is giving up on you. Services give up on you. When you go to seek support from these places that say on the tin that they understand trauma, they understand crisis, they understand mental health. And actually when you get in there, they're like, well, no, actually, you're not sick enough yet. You need to get worse.
All right.
And then you get worse, and then you get there, and they still can't help you.
Serious.
That's the state of support when it comes to mental health. And it definitely pushes medication, which isn't always the best thing sometimes. Like, actually there's other ways that people can deal with it. So I'd always say, like, don't give up on yourself and keep fighting. Keep fighting, because I know the depths of darkness when it feels like there's absolutely no light. There's always light, because that light's within you. You've got breath, you've got strength to fight, so keep fighting.
Great. Wonderful. I'm glad we're doing that. I'm glad we're talking about it because you're doing great, girl. You're doing great. Right. I also know. Let's move back. I also know you've done something for the what is it? The Ladywood
the Arts Forum.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit about the Arts Forum because I've seen it and because this is like we're in the community. We're talking about a lot about the community today, which is great. You know what I mean? And I love this.
I do. I love it as well. I mean, again, got to thank Iris. Iris introduced me to the Ladywood Arts Forum, and actually going into that space, you're meeting other creatives, you're meeting other artists, other performers, entrepreneurs, people in a creative space. Yeah. So it's really good because actually you get into it's a space where you're able to then have an idea and manifest it because there's somebody there that can collaborate with you in that space and idea. Yeah, it's a beautiful space.
What sort of things do you do?
We go, it's like a networking thing. So we go, we network, we talk. There will be a couple of people that might want to introduce what they're doing in the community, their business, and to let them know what, this is where I am, this is what I need. So if anybody wants to get involved, here I am kind of situation. But it's a very open, very safe and very kind space. It's a nice space to be in.
Yeah. And how do you get in touch? Is there any numbers who you call? Is there a website, or how do you get involved in it?
I do believe that the Ladywood Art Forum is on
the website.
Yeah, I think they're on the website. Yeah, and because to be honest, because I got in contact through Iris, I didn't have to go and search for it. Yeah. But I can definitely get some details on regards to that. But you can just look them up, Ladywood's Arts Forum, and it definitely comes up. Because there's a few art forums in different spaces, but Ladywood's Art Forum's amazing. Yeah.
What about skating buddies? How do you get involved in that? How can people get involved in that?
With Skate Buddies, we are on Instagram. So you can get involved by basically contacting me, because at the moment I am everything and everybody. Which is great.
Coming from where you're coming from. When you just talk about your mental
Most
situation.
definitely, and I've been just taking it in my stride every day,
That's great.
So you contact myself on Instagram, and we also have an email. So on Instagram we are skate.buddies. And our email is skatebuddiescommunity@gmail.com.
Right.
Yeah, we have a website as well, so www.skatebuddies.com. Yeah.
And how do you all you guys? You're all skating. How do you all get on? You all getting great? Or how do you all get on?
Do you know, we're like family.
You're family.
We have our moments, but majority of the time, like, we're just out here to just have a great time, and just grow and be in a great space like that right there. Like, we ain't got time to have no arguments with nobody because I'm having too much fun. It's way too much fun. Who can be sad in that? I mean, look at that. That just looks like freedom. Do you know what I mean?
You said that. Explain that to us where that was again.
So this is North Solihull Sports Centre.
Solihull Sports Centre.
Actually, happy birthday to Roll Out, because it's just been there 2 years.
What are you doing there?
I don't know what to call this, right? But what I can say, the song, when you hear the song, it makes sense.
It will. We can't hear the song, but the song is actually a friend.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of like James Brown, you just have to get down and feel that beat kind of tune. And this was one of the Rollout nights. And Rollout is it's an amazing space, because although we have our own skate community there, you meet other people from just around the community in general, and it's been growing amazingly. Like, it's their 2-year birthday. So they're having an event on Sunday at Calthorpe Park. So people need to roll through so you can get to know the family. And they're also going to be doing a street skate there to Calthorpe Park, which is going to be the event from 2 till 7.
How far is that from Calthorpe? I don't know.
I think it's like
from Broad Street to Calthorpe. Where's that?
So Calthorpe Park is Pershore Road.
Pershore Road, yeah.
And it's about a mile and a bit.
From Broad Street.
Yeah.
And now the interesting thing is, how do you skate? Like, you have your own skating track, or how do you do this?
Pavements, roads, bike tracks.
Roads. Yeah. See that? I got to understand.
Cycle tracks. Yeah, but because we're actually going to be on the road with amazing favourite DJ Ken. So he has a bike and it has like a sound system on it. Okay. So we get to take up the road then.
So you take over the whole of the road?
Yeah, so we just stop traffic. I'm like, yeah, so it's an amazing time.
When is this? What is this?
This will be on Sunday.
Okay.
Sunday coming, 2nd.
And what time it starts?
So the street skate starts at 12:30. They'll be meeting at 12:30, leaving at 1 o'clock, top of Broad Street, Regis Park Hotel. And then we will be moving from there, skating down to Calthorpe Park, and that event starts at 2 p.m.
Please slow down.
Sorry. You know what I'm trying to think about it?
Just in case anybody wants to slow down. Because this is a live stream, remember?
I know, sorry. Forgive me, guys. So we'll be having a street skate. So it'll be a slow street skate. It won't be a fast-paced street skate. We'll be gathering at 12:30 at the top of Broad Street at the Regis Park, at the Regis Hotel, right at the top of Broad Street. We will then take our time. It will take us probably about an hour and a bit to get down. And then we'll get to Calthorpe Park, which is on the Persia Road, for 2 p.m. And that event will be running from 2 till 7 p.m.
Great.
Yeah.
And how often do you do these events?
This isn't my event. This is somebody else's event. This is Rollout. Rollout have been in the community before I was.
Okay.
But I love Dino. Dino is an amazing person in the community. He's an inspiration, and he just cares about us, and he's put these events on so that we could have somewhere to skate in the winter.
Okay.
Because we didn't have a space, we didn't have nowhere to go, and it was just, and then when we were going skating, it was in a car park.
Okay. And are you looking for more space?
Definitely looking for more space. We skate buddies, we need space. We'll be putting on some taster sessions at the MAC on October 21st.
Okay.
From 2 till 4. But we still need spaces in terms of being able to work with the community in the community. Okay. So I've been talking to Concord Centre, which is a youth centre in Sparkbrook, just off the Stratford Road. So I'm hoping that we can work with the young people there and also do some work in the community to get people from the community in and skating. So and also I would really like to be able to build this relationship with the leisure centres. I think they don't understand really that they're missing a trick when it comes to this, and actually getting a different demographic and a different type of the community into spaces of fitness and health. So I would love to be able to, I don't know if it's Birmingham City Council, I don't know who you are, but whoever you are, please contact me. Empress Gibbs, you can find me, because we really need to build that relationship so we can start actually doing some real work.
That is great. That is absolutely marvellous. Absolutely marvellous. And you said that event, is there any more events coming in the long run or in the future? And so I'll let you answer that.
At the moment, not for Skate Buddies. We are actually, I'm actually building it into an actual organisation and business at the moment. So I'm in the background setting it up as a non-for-profit. Okay. Because I really believe in what I'm doing. And to be quite honest, I didn't expect it to take this turn. Okay. But the fact that we're actually national now, with having a Skate Buddy that works in their community in Wales. Great. I feel like I need to get some proper structure behind it so that we can actually do a proper service to the community. Okay. Yeah. Great.
So, I'm a bit taller than you, just a bit. I'm a bit taller than you, just a bit. And I'm pretty fit. I am pretty fit, and I run and I jog. How do I get into this if I want to skate?
Buy a pair of skates and some pads. Like, it's literally that simple. Yeah. I think they overthink it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? I think people overthink it. And like I said, and I always say, when you first begin to skate, you face yourself, you face your fears. Yeah. You have to, like, you always come to this place where you hit a wall, like, yeah, no, not doing that again, or no, didn't really, you know, but
I'm gonna fall over. I fear of falling over.
I think a lot of people do, but actually when you learn how to fall,
because even if you're walking, you know what I mean? If you're walking and you're running, which doesn't happen to be very often, if you're walking and you're running and you fall over, it hurts.
It does. It really does, especially if you're coming from height to the floor.
I think it's the pain more than anything, isn't it?
It is, and it's very rare now that I take hard falls. And I didn't really have a lot of hard falls in the beginning. I was overly cautious, and I just took my time with it because I didn't really have anybody to teach me how to fall or anything like that. So if I took a fall, I just took it and get back up, dust yourself off. But you can actually learn how to fall, and one of the best ways, if you feel like you're about to fall, is to bend down and grab your knees.
Oh, you get that,
because you're closer to the ground, and if you do fall, you're not falling far or hard.
So you sort of bend down and grab your knees?
Yeah. So let's say you're standing up here, you've got to just bend down and grab your knees. That's all you need to do right here, because you're here, and now you can find yourself again. But if you need to fall over, you fall over safely.
Okay.
Yeah, so tip for you guys.
What about if you fall into the side?
Well, if you fall into the side, you just give it a curl, you know?
Give yourself a curl off.
Cover your important bits. and you'll be okay. But I've never really taken, I know people do hurt themselves, people do have injuries, and it's crazy because as long as I've been skating, I haven't had any major injuries. I think I twisted my knee once, but that's because I was trying something and I just didn't know what I was doing.
And how long did that take to heal up?
Overextended myself. I'd say about 3 months, so I couldn't skate for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, I was really devastated. I was devastated, so I just used to go to the park and just sit down and watch everybody skate.
I would imagine it's very good because I would imagine it's the same like probably walking and running. Now when I jog, I feel very great. I feel great because it releases all the
the good endorphins.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Endorphins.
It releases all that. You know, in fact, I'm a better person.
But
do you feel like you're a better person when you do that? Don't you?
I do. I feel amazing when I'm skating. The euphoria, the euphoric feeling that you get from skating, especially when you hit a move that you've been trying for a minute, or you just kind of join in and you're like, oh, okay, I'll join in and I'll try and do that, and then you join in and you're like, oh, this is fun actually, but you still struggle. It's an amazing feeling, and I think I prefer that to gym workouts. I prefer that to running. I prefer skating to everything, most things actually, and I love sports.
Right. What's the next level? Where do you take this? What's the next level to take it? I mean, you mentioned a business or taking something.
Yeah,
how far do you want to take this?
Well, we want to set up as a non-for-profit. I want to give the skate buddies and the performance crew that are in the community, so I want to be able to build them up and skill them up if they want to. So, getting coaching qualifications, having their DBSs, so when we do go into schools, they can come in and work with us, with the children in schools, and gain experience around those things. Yeah. I think the next step is definitely getting to schools, and I want to start working in the community and start putting on some actual sessions in the community more regularly. That's the next thing. And I think with the performance crew, I want to do some skills sharing workshops with different performance mediums. So whether it be break dancers, contemporary dancers, and we do skill sharing workshops. So we teach them how to skate, and they teach us their form of art, which will give us as performers who don't have the experience something else that we can add in as well into what we're doing. Okay. Yeah.
Finally, is there anything else you want to tell us?
Oh, let me see.
I got to give you the opportunity.
The opportunity. Yeah. Well, I definitely I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody at Skateborough, because Skateborough is where I started. That is home for me, and it's home for a lot of us. We might have different groups, but that's home. And I just want to thank Carl for all his support and everything that he's done. I want to thank Dalroy for introducing me to Iris. I want to thank Iris for giving me the opportunity to just be me authentically, and she supported me in that wholeheartedly, and for the impact that's actually had on skateboarders and my healing journey. We will be, hopefully, we need, as skateboarders as well, doing this work in the community, we need skates. Yeah. So if people want to donate skates, we're going to try and set up something where we can take in donations, but we're also looking for funding. But we're happy to take skates as well, because we just actually want to get in the community, and waiting on funding might delay that. So donation of skates would be great. We're also going to Skate Hut on the 2nd of October. So we're having, an interview there, and hopefully we'll be able to do some work together so that we can actually get that moving. Because Skate Hut are amazing in our community, in the sense that it's the only place that you can go in Birmingham, while it's in Halesowen, that you can go and look at skates, speak to somebody and find out what it is. Right. If you don't know anything about skates, you can get that information there. Right. Yeah.
On the question, because you mentioned it, how much does a proper skating shoes cost?
You can get a good pair of skates, especially when you're beginning, 40 quid. Mm-hmm. Rios are quite good because they they come more like trainers, so they're much more comfortable to start in. These are artistic skates. These are rookies. These were
rookies.
These are rookies. This is the name of the skate. So this is the maker of the skates. These are rookies. And I love my rookies. You have Moxies, you got Impalas, so they're all different makes of skates. But these rookies, I think, were $89.99, but I've had these for 3 years.
How long do they last?
Well, I've had these for 3 years, and they're fine.
They're still very good.
Yeah, I haven't had any problems with them. And to be fair, my first pair of skates I got from Amazon. I think that must have been like 20 quid or something like that. And when I actually got these skates, I realised, or I felt like I went from a KA to a Mercedes-Benz in skates. Like the luxury, the foot luxury was just different, on a different level. Yeah, but skates go into the hundreds of pounds, but it's not necessary to get started.
Great.
Yeah.
Empress, let me say thanks.
Thank you.
For coming in and tell us your journey. Touch my hand.
It's been fun. Let's do it again.
Let's do this again.
We will, definitely.
Look after yourself.
Yeah.
Let me say thank you for sharing the experience. We'll do this again.
I hope so. There's more to come.
There's more to come, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know. And I was thinking, an hour is too short.
Do you know what? I didn't even realise that. That felt like 20 minutes. Didn't feel long at all.
Yeah, great. Right, guys, there you have it. Come to the end of another What's on Your Mind. See, that's why the show is called What's on Your Mind. This week we deal mainly with skating, right? So we do this, you know what I mean? I want to say thanks to all you guys who watched the program. Let me big thanks. I also want to say big shout out to you, Iris. I also want to say big shout out to Scott, you know what I mean? All you guys, and all you guys who was actually helping to save the reservoir. That's where I actually knew you guys, you know what I mean? You was actually helping to save the Tower Ball room. That's where we actually link up, you know. Let me say big shout out to you. And thanks for supporting the program, you know what I mean? Absolutely massive. And all you guys who actually tune into the program, let me say massive respect. And thank you for tuning in to the program. I want to say a big thanks to my producer. He's done great this week again. He's worked hard. And I'm going home now, and I hope it's not raining. And I hope I don't get blown away in the storm. And I want to say big shout out to all my family. Look after yourself. Catch you soon. We talk. And next week, guests, all being well. Another great artist, Amlak from Steel Pulse. We're expecting to have on the program next week. Yeah, all being well. You know what I mean? He's done a lot of stuff over the years. He's worked with a lot of different musicians, and we're hoping to have him in the studio next week and having a great chat with him. That is what we call What's on Your Mind. Have a great weekend. And look after yourself and watch out for the heavy rain. No, I am not the weatherman, but they've been predicting it. The funny thing is, last week I was actually talking about the weather, but this was the weather that was actually coming in from the Atlantic. Now it's actually reached us. Yeah, have a great afternoon. Look after yourself. God bless. Take care. I'm out.